In the last few videos, you guys know I bought this car from Japan's biggest auction house for $436. Unfortunately, we got scammed. It had a bad engine. It was dumping smoke everywhere. But today, 2 boxes just arrived. One big one from Yahoo Auctions, which is a brand new engine for the car, and then this box from TEMU. And TEMU did not want me to make this video, but we're gonna make it anyways. We're going to be boosting this new engine for the Suzuki Wagon R for only $200, and it's gonna work. First of all, let's have a look at our engine. I still can't believe that this just arrived from the mailman. I ordered this yesterday, paid for it. 24,000 Japanese yen. I don't know how much that is in USD, but we'll look it up and edit it and it'll be here somewhere. But let's open it up, make sure we got ourselves a good engine, and then we'll have a look at our boost adder, which, wait, what? Oh, that was much easier than I thought. Yo, this is awesome. I didn't even know it came with a wiring loom. Not bad, not bad. This looks good. Okay, we'll have to, you know, do a bit of parts cleaner, probably get a new valve cover gasket. This actually came off an automatic version of the car, which generally means the car doesn't get beaten as much. Ah, I'm glad. The automatic car happens to have this attached to the flex plate, I guess. So that means it'll be very, very easy and we don't have to pull that out of the crank. But this looks pretty good, all things considered. It's our fresh new engine. I'm stoked. I've never received an engine from the mailman where like we can pick it up without an engine crane. So this has been a kind of a fun new experience for me. I can't stress this enough, guys. Get a crazy cheap car that you just don't care about. You need to definitely brand that. Let's see if we can pick this up. There we go. That's our engine. Nice. This one should not be burning a ton of oil and smoke. We've obviously got a ton of accessories to switch over to this engine from the old engine here. And at the same time, we're gonna be actually pulling the head off that and having a look at how bad the damage is. But this came out of the identical same car. The main difference though is that we're gonna be boosting this one, and that's gonna require some kind of fabrication. That is definitely for sure. We're gonna have to probably switch wiring harnesses too, just so that we're using the same old stuff. So at the start of this video, I mentioned that TEMU didn't want me to make this video about this particular product here, and there's a backstory there. And first of all, let me just start by saying, this is not sponsored whatsoever. In fact, I don't recommend you buy anything from TEMU, especially considering some of the stuff that's come out recently about you know, the privacy policies and stuff like that, especially with the malware that was found to be running in the background of their app that everyone was downloading and installing on their phones. But that aside, what happened was about 6 to 8 months ago, they emailed me and they wanted me to make a video. It was a paid video and they wanted me to buy some products from TEMU, show how great the website is, you know, show how good the products were. Now, one thing that really troubled me about it though, was in the contract, it said that we weren't allowed to say that the products that we got were bad or, you know, anything negative about them. And I was like, hang on, that's not right. You know, that's lying, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to actually do that. But anyway, long story short, I emailed them back and I said, hey, I got no problem doing the video, but if the product sucks, and I'm gonna tell the truth. They didn't like that and we never moved forward. And this was kind of the video idea that I wanted to do. So I'm doing it anyway. So these things are on TEMU for about $200 or so. And TEMU, if you are watching this, maybe check with the FCC about your marketing policies. But anyways, this thing, as I said, costs about $200 on TEMU. I think you can find them on AliExpress, Alibaba, and Wish.com even has them. A ton of other Chinese, you know, marketing websites have these. But I have never, ever boosted an engine with one of these before. The magic blue bag. What's inside? It's an AMR 500 supercharger. There are multiple different versions of this particular supercharger. I think there's like an AMR 300, which is a little smaller. This one's generally good for up 1 liter plus, and there's multiple different variations of this. One thing that's super important is these do not ship with any gear oil in them. Superchargers need some kind of lubrication. A lot of them actually have oil coolers and their own individual oil systems. these need them too. And I've seen actually a lot of videos of people blowing these up after one dyno pull or saying they don't work because they never put gear oil in them or read the instructions. So we're gonna be putting gear oil in this, we're gonna be servicing it, checking everything, and then this is going to be replacing the AC compressor on our engine. And what's really, really cool is that this already has, I think, a 4 PK belt here that runs the AC compressor that sits here. Now, this came with a 6 PK belt, but TEMU didn't sell these. AliExpress sold 4 PK pulleys for these. So I bought one of those. That was weird, that felt weird. I bought one of the 4 PK pulleys and they're on their way right now and they should arrive in the next few days. But the idea is very straightforward. This, we're gonna fabricate up a bracket and this is gonna sit somewhere in here like that. And the belt's gonna go from here around there and we should be good. We could probably get away trying to use the 6 PK pulley. The 6 PK pulley, why is that so hard for me to say? We could probably get away with using that with it just not being on all the ribs, but I wanna give this thing the best chance possible for it to have not slip or have any belt problems and it make the most boost possible. I'm pretty confident this is gonna work really, really well. We're gonna have to obviously fabricate some piping and stuff. We've got an intercooler on the way from the actual stock turbo version of this engine, but I think this is gonna be awesome. And I also love the fact that I'm making the video that TEMU didn't want me to make. So we're gonna be doing that. But before we continue any further, you might be wondering, what exactly is a supercharger and how does it work? So let's go ask Mr. Science Man Sam. Thanks, Normal Sam. I'm Science Sam, and I'm here to tell you the difference between superchargers and turbochargers. First of all, let's start with the turbocharger. We know this all too well. We've seen this a lot on Sam's channel. This is a Garrett. This is actually a GTX 3076R. It's actually for sale for an awesome, twin scroll V-band high response SR kit. If you're interested, DM the SAMMIT HQ Instagram because it's a full turbo kit, dump pipe, everything included with the twin scroll T3 manifold from Dock Racing and the Wastegate 2. But anyways, that aside, this works very simple. Exhaust gases go in here. They come out here. While it goes around and comes out, it spins the turbine wheel in the back, which spins the compressor wheel in the front, which sucks air in and spits it out here into your engine, making things go boom and bang a lot faster, and you get boost, essentially. How a supercharger works though is actually very different. It's not taking energy wasted going out the exhaust pipe, it's actually just taking normal spinning motion from your crank. So this goes onto the crankshaft and it's spinning this. And as it spins this and gets up to RPM, it's sucking air in and then pushing it into your engine. Typically how a supercharger works is that it's got no lag. It's kind of very linear and it's supposed to just be a power adder that feels more like NA, but you're making boost. When it comes to a turbo, you have this period where you kind of feel it spooling up, but this just kind of ramps up as the engine RPM goes up and it's kind of just consistent all the way through. There's a bunch of information out there. If you're interested more in this, I highly recommend Googling it. That's a great idea to learn about things. But otherwise, this is a supercharger. It's run by the belt on the front of the engine. It doesn't have any kind of exhaust going through it whatsoever. It just sucks and pushes more air in your engine. That's it, big suck with a belt. Back to you, Normal Sam. It's the next day and a package just arrived that I got from Yahoo Auctions. And this intercooler for this car cost me 300 yen. That is about, I don't know, $1.80 USD. Have you ever heard of an intercooler being that much? I think just melting the aluminum down from the core would probably get you more money than this. Anyways, that aside, this is gonna be the intercooler we're running. These cars do have a turbo edition of this engine, so I was able to just hunt down the stock version of that, which will be more than enough for what we need. And then we've also got a little bit of a surprise to show you. We've been working the last few days kind of mapping some stuff out, so we should be good. Oh my God, okay, now I know why this is 300 yen. This is tiny. Have you ever seen an intercooler this small before, Daiki?
No.
What? This is like a heater core. I think a heater core is bigger than this, Daiki. Look at this thing. What? To be fair though.
It looks like oil cooler or something like that.
Right?
Yeah.
How is this thing? Look how tiny this is! I thought it was bigger. In the pictures, I got an impression it was much bigger than that. That's not cooling anything. That's actually hilarious. Oh, a little bit of oil on that came out of it. It's one thing that these things have in common is they like oil. All right, so how this works in the turbo models is this is actually cut out here and a vent is in the hood. And as you're driving, cold air gets pushed through this. So that's kind of like when the bonnet is closed, that sits like roughly about there and lines up with the bonnet there. So that's kind of what I was going to do. And the normal location for this, I believe, is something like, hang on, wait. I don't know what the normal location is for this. Actually, it's probably more like something like that. But my goal is to pretty much just go straight into here somehow and make it work with the supercharger that's going down there. Speaking of supercharger, oh, have we got a surprise for you under this blanket? Well, bam! It's already done! So here is where we are at. As you can see, the supercharger is already mounted on here. We made up this really awesome bracket based off the old AC compressor one that was there. All we kind of did was cut it down, shorten it so that this got closer to the block, and then on the back section, cut off the tab, welded it so it all lined up perfect. But everything kind of actually was really easy and simple to do. The only other thing is like the tensioner, right? Like, well, you know, how to adjust tension on the belt. Now, what I'm hoping is that we can get a slightly smaller belt and we won't have to go so far out. But roughly everything lined up, this is kind of what it's gonna look like with tension on it. Now we're gonna just kind of use a pry bar to put tension on it, and then we're gonna have a bar that's gonna go from this spot to here, or even maybe we'll utilize these bolt points, but essentially it's gonna be like that, where the tension, we're gonna just manually apply it and lock it in place. I don't think we need to worry about having adjustable tension, because once it's on there nice and tight, that's really all we care about. But that's kind of how it's gonna look. Kind of looks ridiculous, doesn't it? But yeah. Don't need it all the way out like this when we get a little bit of a smaller belt. I'm hoping that we'll be able to suck this in to about there, and then I'm gonna have a custom aluminum output here where this is gonna go, you know, up to here, which is where our intercooler comes in, a little baby guy. Love how cute this is. This is gonna go with a coupler straight into there, like that. And then this, actually surprisingly, lines up perfect with that little mount there. So if we get the little rubber mount thing for that, or if I make something for it, it can just go straight onto that, hold that in place, and then we just need the aluminum piping to come out of here. It should be like a sharp 90 or 45 to skip past this. We could also just chop this off if we needed to. And then this will then come straight up into the little intercooler. We'll cut a little hole in the hood so it has a little bit of vents. We'll probably just like slice it and then bend it, and it'll be perfect. Just direct some cold air over that, which will be good too, because it'll also keep some of the air blowing on top of where the coil packs are that get really, really hot. But yeah, heat soak is probably going to be an issue. If we want to solve that, we got to do a front mount, but this is more of like a proof of concept, and I think it's going to work really, really well. I've been working on getting the old wiring loom off the new engine. And the last thing I have to unplug, I'm pretty sure, are these coil packs. And when I took the coil pack cover off, I was blessed with a really nice surprise. This seems to have genuine Denso coils on here. And you may think that that's not that surprising, but if you guys remember a few videos back, I was explaining that these Kei engines go through plugs and coils quite fast because they always run hot. Operating temperature is like 100 C plus, just all the time. Oh, why is that temp sensor plug not coming off? That's the last plug there. And these get changed a lot, and typically you can save a couple bucks by just getting the cheaper Chinese copy ones, because you end up changing them every 50,000 kilometers anyways, and it doesn't really make a difference because you go through them so fast. But yeah, this has genuine Densos in here, which is nice. I'm going to take the plugs out, take the cover off, inspect everything. We're going to goop up some things with silicone, make sure everything's fresh in there and the gasket's okay before we send this one. But the first thing I need to do is actually get this coupler off, which is, there we go. That's it. Harness should be off now. Oh, looks like this plug here, I just got to lift up that little pin there, but we couldn't use this harness because there's a bunch of plugs on here for the automatic transmission, and it's got an auto ECU. We want the manual ECU and the manual loom so that we don't have to worry about with any weird stuff happening. So good to do it while it's outside of the car, and then I can start piecing everything together. We'll put the trans on, starter, motor, alternator, get all of that on here, and start getting this thing all bolted up. I've got the brackets that we made over there drying. You can hear now Daikie's outside cutting the aluminum flanges that we're going to need for the supercharger to weld onto. Otherwise, we should be good. I gotta give it to Daikie. He's made some pretty nice fine pieces of art here. Some new aluminum flanges. They're about 8 mil thick, so they should do us quite well. It's about to cut the first hole for the, I think that's the intake side maybe? Should be good. Just go slow, all right? Line that puppy up. Oh, whoa, that is a little big, isn't it? Is that, no, that's too small, that's too small. We need something like 40 mil. Hang on, let's revisit this real quick. We opted for the 40 mil. We're working through it. We'll have these done in a jiffy. We can bolt them on and start welding. So we've progressed a fair bit and I'm trying to work out the intercooler piping, which is kind of weird to say. But the belt that we have is too big. I think I explained this before, but this is max all the way up, this is max all the way down, and where I want this thing to be is just a little bit down. And what I've done to measure out, to work out what size belt I need, is I cut the belt that we had and I measured it out and tried at different intervals. First, I actually tried with zip ties to like get an idea, and then from there I measured the length of the zip ties to then work out the ideal part of this. And then all I do is I just put a self tapper through the belt after measuring where I need it to be. And that way that gives me exactly, in this case, this is now a 4PK 700. So it's 700 mil long, 70 centimeters long. Obviously we're not gonna run the engine with this. This is just for us to figure out where the supercharger is going to sit when it's got some tension on it and where it's gonna be for the piping so we can fab everything up and have this thing ready. So where that's gonna sit, it's gonna sit roughly there. After putting a bit of tension and everything on there, I've already marked up this 45 here, but this is gonna end up sitting somewhere like that, which is then gonna line up with this top 45, which is a clean shot straight to the little intercooler. Now, I've had to order some pretty custom silicone reducers because this pipe going in is 40, but then this pipe going in up here to the throttle body is 45 or 48 or something. It's not 50, it's just a slight smaller. So I've got a silicone coupler coming for that, and then a reducer coming for that, and then the rest of this is just gonna get welded on, so it's gonna be a straight pipe. I think it's gonna work quite well, to be honest. To be completely frank though, I'm thinking about maybe putting a silicone coupler here because we will have the heat shield over the exhaust manifold, so I'm not too worried about too much heat soaking up that pipe. The main thing is that the intercooler's here, it is small, but we are gonna have a hood, little cutout in the hood so fresh air is pushing on it. But I don't know, we'll see how this is all gonna go. This is pretty, look, at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be perfect because I just don't care because this car costs nothing pretty much. So yeah, this is fun, this is great. Rolling a bead, that means we're done. Let's go. Last roll. I'm happy with this. All right. And now we've got a fresh charge pipe for the supercharger. Goes straight to the intercooler. This turned out actually pretty freaking awesome. I'm stoked on this. Not bad. So let's all make sure it all works now. Okay, that's roughly where it's gonna be with all the tension on it. Oh yeah, that's gonna be pretty good. With this silicone couplers, this is gonna be like on the money. That's gonna be up there like that. That's gonna be there like that. It's gonna be pretty much on the money. This looks freaking awesome. Good job, Daiki. This looks great. I don't know if it's gonna fit in the car yet, but we'll figure that out later. Everything else looks like it's gonna line up perfect though. I think we literally just have a bracket that goes into these two bolt holes here, like here, that then just goes to this 10 mil here to hold it with the tension. I think that's all it's gonna need, but I don't know, I've never messed around with superchargers before. Yeah. So we will see. When this belt is here like that, it may need more tension on it. So what I could do is when this is fixed in place, I may also have to make another bracket that comes from like here across and ties into that same bracket there. That's probably not a bad idea. But if we still need more tension on the belt because it's slipping or something, I could actually add from this bolt point here, a little idle pulley that pushes up on there man, I'm stoked. This is gonna be awesome. Once we get the new valve cover gasket, all we gotta do is pretty much bolt everything on and we're done, and then fabricate the intake here, which I probably need to do inside the car, just because I don't know what kind of space I have down here. There's a good chance that when we're inside the car, this may be up against the radiator support. And if that's the case, then I gotta notch the radiator support for it. But that, yeah, we will have to do that and fabricate this up once it's in the car. I'm hopeful though that it's gonna clear everything and I can just have a tight radius, like 90, something like this, that I can just reuse some old stuff I have lying around. That can probably just go on it like this. Actually, probably can't use that, but you know, you get the idea. Sharp 90 off that, bring it up. We'll bring it up to like a normal, you know, 2.5 inch or 3 inch, just normal pod filter, something small that can just suck a lot of air. And then we also have to add into that the IAT sensor, which is usually up here by the air box, whatever that wiring is. So what I'll do is I'll just extend these 2 wires down to wherever the intake's gonna be, which could be in the front bumper where it's getting fresh air, or somewhere else in the engine bay. But that's the main part done. Overall, guys, I'm pretty stoked with today's progress. It sucks that we have to leave things where they are now though. I would have loved to have had this all done in one video, but I'm confident in the next video, we will have all the fabrication done, everything bolted up, ready to drop in the car, and we should be able to have first start in the next video, providing everything arrives that we've ordered. But I don't see why not. Everything is either Amazon or Yahoo, and it's normally next day delivery. So over this weekend, I'm gonna kind of wrench on this and film the next video. We should have this thing running for the first start in no time. I'm super stoked. I have never done anything like this, so I mean, I'm just curious to see how this is gonna work. I wanna know in the comment section, do you guys think that this whole thing's gonna work or what? We've done our measurements too. It looks like we're gonna clear all the space and everything. The supercharger will be sitting in this area here, like in the bumper. We may have to cut this vent a little out of here, but I think it's gonna be perfect. I think it's gonna work really, really well. I'm stoked, and just how everything seems to be going together is quite well. Obviously the heat shield there is good too. I'll add another shield on the other side of this pipe to try and help with a bit of heat soak stuff, but I think this is gonna work. The only thing I'm concerned about is the ECU, but let me know in the comment section, guys. Are you enjoying this build series? I definitely am. Like I said, it's just bringing back memories of why I fell in love with working on cars and wrenching on them with my friends and my dad and everything. Cheap cars that you just don't care about, because at the end of the day, if you break it, it's not gonna really affect you that much. It's a couple $100 or a couple grand, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, all in all, I think with all the supplies and the parts that we've used, I don't even think, I mean, even if we include the extra engine that we had to buy for this thing, I don't even think we're at the $1 grand mark, or if we are, we've only just hit it now. And we still have a lot more to get for the car. We've got coilovers that need to come and all that other stuff, but the parts for these cars are so cheap. And if you can fabricate and weld and just make stuff yourself from scrap things lying around that you can get for free or from the junkyard or whatever, then it's just so worth it to have a little cheap POS, you know, nug bucket, whatever you want to call it. Nug bucket, that's a weird one. Nugget, whatever. Let me know. I need to name this thing. I definitely need to name this thing. But thanks for watching, like, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Grab the new racing team pack for the FD program. It's over on SAMMIT.net. You get this cool hat. This is the first prototype. It's pretty awesome. Those are all getting shipped out, actually, I think, from when the pre-orders end at the end of this week. It will be like 4 weeks after that. This is usually what happens with all our pre-order stuff. But anyway, I'm ranting on again. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.
He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned? He said, will you